following is a presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball, brought to you by the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Last summer, the Wareham Gatemen had one of their most successful seasons in franchise history.
Skied out to left field. This ball is way back. See you later. Colton Shaver.
2-1 pitch. That is rocketed out to right field. Back goes the right fielder. That one's gone. An absolute bomb to right field for Gavin Sheets.
Hey, swung on and hit out towards center field. Bartosik on the move. Kind of got turned around. He's at the wall. Scaling the wall. He reaches up and makes the catch.
But despite their regular season success, the 2016 Gatemen were sent packing after the first round of the CCBL playoffs.
Is this ball fair? It is! Bro comes in to score the game's tying run. McKinnon comes in as well. Bourne has walked off, and Wareham's season is over.
Now, a new season and a fresh start in Wareham. College baseball's finest are coming from all over the country in pursuit of the Gatemen's 8th Cape Cod Baseball League Championship.
3-2 pitch. Metz bombs one to right field. Back goes the right fielder. It's gone. Robbie Metz, his second home run of the season.
The 1-2 pitch from Canine coming in, swung on and missed, and the Gatemen win their third straight game here at Spillane Field.
Fly ball deep right field. Pompey's under it. He makes the catch. Throws to the plate. McIver puts the tag down on the runner and he's out. Double play. What a play by Pompey.
It's Wareham Gatemen Baseball, and you're listening to it live on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Game 2 here in Chatham. It's Veterans Field, and we welcome you here. I'm Connor Federico hosting today's broadcast. We'll get you to Jacob Toby and Sam Corman very shortly. Game 1, the Gatemen took a loss. They were trailing most of the game 3-0 against the great pitching of Jacob Stevens for Chatham. Then Willie McIver hit a 3-run home run. It was in the top of the 5th. And McIver drove in Brandon Lockridge and Tanner Dodson. He had a fantastic day. It was the first home run that the Gatemen have hit this season, and they're going to be trying to do the same against Chatham in Game 2. It was Justin Hagenman who came in from Penn State for his first relief appearance of the season for the Gatemen. He gave up 4 runs in the 5th and 6th innings, 5 earned, after Will Neely replaced him and gave up a base hit to Austin Edens that drove in another run. So the Gatemen, they lost the first game. They dropped to 2-2 on the season in a 7-inning affair with Chatham. They're only 7 innings games, but they still count the same in the scorebook. And in just a second, we'll toss it to Jacob Toby and Sam Corman, who are getting ready for the start of Game 2 right now between these two teams. It's an East-West affair, and the Gatemen, after losing the first game to Chatham today, they're 1-1 on the season against the East Division. The first win coming against Harwich on Thursday night, a 9-0 affair that the Gatemen won. So we know the Gatemen, they have the ability in their bats, they have the ability in their pitching. Only a couple of innings this year the Gatemen have given up runs, but when they have, it seems to get a little bit out of control. The key for the game this time around for the Gatemen, when those leadoff runners get on base, you need to be able to score them. And Jacob Toby and Sam Corman are going to talk about that right now as we get ready for Game 2 of this doubleheader between the Gatemen and the Anglers. Guys.
All right, thanks very much, Jacob Toby, alongside my man, Sam Corman. He was on the call for Game 1. I'm on the call for Game 2. Thank you very much, Connor Federico. We are here at Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts. The fog is rolling, and it's rolling in a lot right now. It was starting to come in middle of the game last game, and it's always going to come in here at Veterans Field. It's been a problem a lot of the years here, and it will continue to be today. So We'll go over the starting lineups first for the Wareham Gatemen in Game 2 of the doubleheader. It'll be Andy Shatted leading it off in right field. Nick Angelini is the center fielder. He bats second. Willie McIver had the 3-run bomb last game, hits third and plays third. Luke Bonfield, who went 0 for 3 in his Gateman debut this season, bats fourth at first base. Blake Sable in left field today is making his debut in the outfield. Jake Anchia, the DH today. Kyle Noth at catcher bats seventh. Robbie Metz, the second baseman, bats eighth. And Ben Baird, the shortstop, bats ninth. And for the Chatham Anglers, it'll be DJ Artis leading it off again for the second straight game in center field. Jake Palomaki is the second baseman. He bats second in this game. Jacob Olson's the right fielder. He bats third. Nick Patton's at first base. He bats fourth. Cody Roberts is the catcher. He bats fifth. Jimmy Titus, the DH, bats sixth. Antonio Relat at third base, bats seventh. Jeremy Pena, the shortstop, bats eighth. Mason Coppins is the left fielder, and he bats ninth. And again, the Anglers beating the Gatemen 8-3 in just that game a couple moments ago. We saw a 3-run home run by Willie McIver, a no-doubter. And we'll see what the Gatemen can do here today. We're going to take it to a short break, but be right back. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Back here at Veterans Field, Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman as Game 2 is about to get underway. And if you're just joining in, we'll go over the Wareham starting lineup one more time. Andy Shatted in right field bats first. Nick Angelini is the center fielder. Willie McIver is the third baseman. Luke Bonfield at first base bats fourth. Blake Sable in left field. Jake Anchia, the DH. Kyle Noth, the catcher. Robbie Metz, the second baseman. And Ben Baird is the shortstop. He bats ninth. The defense for the Chatham Anglers goes as follows. Antonio Relat at third base, Jeremy Pena the shortstop, Jake Palomaki at second, Nick Patton at first. Left to right in the outfield, Mason Coppins, DJ Artis, Jacob Olson, Cody Roberts does the catching for John Signor.
Yeah, John Signor coming into this game is for the second as a pitcher for Game 2. of Chatham. The first game led by...
First pitch is hammered out to deep left field. Going back is the left fielder and caught on the warning track. Shad sent that one far, but a nice play made by the left fielder Coppins. One gone quickly.
Well, John Signor out of Fairfield University. That was it was a pretty exciting first pitch there, but
watch out.
Got taken to the track on the first pitch from Wallingford, Connecticut. Went to Xavier High School, a very good baseball high school in Connecticut. Also, just an overall athletic school in general, a Xavier High School down in New Haven County.
First pitch taken for a strike by Nick Angelini, the center fielder, 0-1.
Signor with a 3.26 ERA this year at Fairfield University in Connecticut. 76 strikeouts to 17 walks.
Now when shot fouled on the first base line, it's quickly 0-2 to Angelini.
That was an impressive swing there by Shad on the first pitch, though. Took it out to the track. We saw him struggle in the first game and yesterday against Falmouth.
Signor is 0-2. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bob Aquino rotates to home plate tonight. Tom Carey at first and Rick Emerson, the third base umpire. Signor's 1-2. Swung on and missed. Angelini goes down swinging. 2 gone quickly in the top of the first.
Well, that's what you want if you're John Signor here for Chatham. 2 quick outs. The good pitch there on Angelini. Got him with a high heat on the strikeout there. So we'll see if John Signor can get this quick first inning out of the way against Wareham.
William McIver steps in, had the 3-run bomb in game 1, and takes a breaking ball in for a strike. 0-1.
That was a really impressive breaking ball there from Signor on the inside part of the plate.
Fouled away, and it's quickly 0-2. Quick turnaround here at Veterans Field. Game was scheduled to start at 8. They chose 7:40 as time's called at the plate. No score, top of the first, 2 outs. Jacob Tobey alongside Sam Corman at Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts. The 0-2 pitch to McIver is low and in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A slow breaking ball out of the hands of John Signor, and a ton of break on that action. 12-6 on the clock for Signor.
Signor delivers the 1-2. Called strike 3, a delayed call by home plate umpire Bob Aquino. Back-to-back strikeouts for Signor. McIver goes down looking, and that'll end the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on. It's still no score at the top of the first. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
The Down East Lobster Roll combos are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
It was a quick turnaround for Game 2, but we are here and we are playing baseball. Jacob Tobey alongside Sam Corman. It's the Wareham Gatemen and the Chatham Anglers for Game 2 of the doubleheader. Wareham couldn't win Game 1. They lose it 8-3. And in the bottom of the first, here is Chatham's lineup. DJ Artis leads it off in center field. Jake Palomaki, the second baseman, bats second. Jacob Olson in right field bats third. Nick Patton is the first baseman, bats fourth. Cody Roberts is the catcher. He bats fifth. Jimmy Titus at the DH spot today bats sixth. Antonio Relat at third base bats seventh. Jeremy Pena, the shortstop, bats eighth. Mason Coppins in left field bats ninth. They will face Fitz Stadler.
Yeah, Stadler out of Arizona State, the rising sophomore, right-handed pitcher from Glenview, Illinois, and this year went 1-1 with a 4.85 ERA this season. 7 strikeouts and a walk to 14 hits this season against Fitz Stadler.
First pitch is swung on, or rather, yes, swung on and missed, 0-1.
Stadler was actually drafted by the Cubs in 2015, but chose to attend Arizona State instead of go to the MLB.
Stadler's 0-1. Caught on and missed. No balls and 2 strikes.
We saw Artis in the first game, how good he is from Liberty. And it's important to get ahead on the count on him, and Stadler's just done that.
Artis 1 for 3 in game 1. Takes a pitch up and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, Stadler, 6'9", 234. One of the bigger arms you're going to see here on the Cape.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the bigger arms you're going to see
in baseball.
In baseball, honestly. 6'9", that's a tower.
1-2 is chopped and sent out to center field. Ranging over, making a diving play is Angelini.
Wow.
Watch out in center field.
We've seen some diving plays so far this year, but that might have been the best one, I think. Angelini covered a lot of ground there.
So Angelini in center field makes a beautiful diving play to his right. And 1 gone here in the bottom of the first. Jake Palomaki takes a strike. And Palomaki in game 1 was 2 for 2 with a walk and 2 singles. Came around to score as well. Takes a pitch inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Palomaki in the first game, a little bit later in the lineup. They're putting him up to the 2 spot here in the second game. We'll see what Palomaki can work with. Does have speed from Boston College.
Ball in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. Wind picking up, as you can hear through the crowd mic. Wind and fog here at Veterans Field.
Yeah, the fog is visible in those lights out in the outfield just flying through this Veterans Field here in Chatham.
2-1 up and in. 3 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. No score, bottom of the first. Wareham in the blue uniforms, gray pants, blue socks, red trim. Chatham in the white uniforms, white shirts, white pants, blue trim. Stadler delivers the 3-1 to Palomaki, and Palomaki will head down to first base with a 1-out walk.
So after the quick out there from Stadler on Artis, Palomaki walks, so you got to recover from that tough command on those pitches there. 4-5 pitch walk there from Stadler.
Jacob Olsen, the right fielder, will step in with Palomaki at first. Stadler delivers a ball up and in. 1-0. Veterans Field has been home to the Anglers since the inception of the Cape Cod Baseball League back in 1923, so a long time Veterans Field has been around. It's a beautiful park.
A good crowd here in Chatham on this foggy Sunday evening, even though...
A check over Palomaki at first. He dives back safely.
Even though the conditions aren't the greatest, we still have a loyal fan base here on the elbow of Cape Cod.
Veterans Field was home to the 2016 Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star Game just a year ago. Stadler's 1-0, taken for a strike, 1 ball, and 1 strike.
Jacob Olsen was a guy that was really impressive in that first game. Only went 1 for 3, but had some good at-bats, had that walk back in the 6th inning, and did score in the 5th.
Stadler checks over at first again. A soft toss there, just to keep Palomaki aware. He dives back. Nothing doing on the base paths. 1-1 the count with 1 out and no score, bottom of the first, between the Gatemen and the Anglers in game 2 of the doubleheader. Big swing and a miss there from Olsen, and now he's down in the count, 1-2.
Olsen led his Gamecock squad with a .294 batting average this season. Anytime you lead an SEC team in average, means you have a really good hitter at the plate right now. Stadler's got to bear down.
Stadler delivers the 1-2. That is slicing down the right field line, foul and out of play. Well, they'll do the 1-2 again. Chatham has had 2 days off before the first game today and then the second game today. Game versus Brewster was rained out yesterday because the field was not ready after Friday's cancellations because of rain showers.
Lots of rain. We're lucky that we were able to play in Wareham yesterday.
The 1-2 pitch from Stadler, just outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So what does head coach John Schiffner do when they can't play yesterday? He holds a practice at Veterans Field.
Well, that probably tore the field up even more than a game would, honestly, with all those guys running around.
Well, the game was supposed to be in Brewster, so they just made the trek back from Brewster. The 2-2 from Stadler. Inside in full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Still not too far, Brewster. I've never been there, so I wouldn't know.
You'll be going.
How, of course, but I've never been there, so I wouldn't know how the field conditions at Brewster are compared to the rest of the league.
Well, no lights at Brewster. That's the first thing you should know. Stadler with a runner on first. Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Olsen. He fouls it straight back to the backstop. Runner was going.
And we saw Palomaki breaking for second there. We saw about 4 or 5 hit-and-run attempts in the first game. It's something that Chatham's head coach Schiffer really likes to work on, especially with 2 strikes in the count. So we'll see if Palomaki tries to do the same thing. Watch for the shortstop to go to second instead of Lockridge on the right side, because they like to drive the ball opposite field.
Olsen awaiting the 3-2. Here it comes, and he sends this one out to left field. Going back is Sable. Sable makes a dive, but he can't get it, and it rolls to the wall. Rounding second, heading for third is Palomaki. Palomaki being waved home. The throw to the plate, not in time, and an RBI double for Jacob Olsen gives the Chatham Anglers a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first.
Really good contact. We mentioned how good of a hitter Olsen was with 27 RBIs this season for South Carolina. He ripped that one over the glove. May have not been a great play by Sable, who's not the most experienced left fielder. Probably shouldn't have dove for that. He could have chased it down to the wall, probably would have prevented the runner at first, Palomaki, from getting home, although Palomaki does have speed, so you never know. But Sable's not that experienced out in left. He's more of a catcher, first base, corner infielder type guy, so watch for him in left today.
Making his debut in left field, Nick Patton, now the first baseman, steps in with a runner at second base in Jacob Olsen. Stadler lets up a run early here in the bottom of the first, a 1-0 lead for the Anglers. That one is sent out to center field. Going back is Angelini. Angelini still going back. And that one is gone. Nick Patton with a home run, a 2-run shot out to straightaway center field. And just like that, it's 3-0 Anglers in the bottom of the first.
He crushed that one straight away center field. It's not quite as deep as the deadly center field in Wareham, where you have about 430, 435 out there, right? So
I believe it's 385 to center field here at Veterans Field.
And we could barely see that one leave the park. All we saw was the center fielder Angelini chasing it out, but the fog really blocking that ball. And that landed on the hill out there in center next to the flagpole.
Well, a quick start for the Anglers. Stepping in is Cody Roberts, the catcher. And he takes time at the plate. Still 1 out in the inning, a 3-0 lead for the Anglers. Chatham scored 3 in the first in game 1.
This is tough for Wareham right now, even not just for Fitz Sadler, but for the lineup, who just played a first game of this doubleheader and lost 8-3. Now they come into the second one, they're already down by 3 runs. They got to come back.
Last pitch was a ball, the 1-0, squibbed out to the first baseman Bonfield, who's going to flip to Stadler and get the out. So 2 gone here in the bottom of the first.
Stadler used that long reach to get that ball over at first base. 6'9", he's a tower out there on the mound too. Probably raises him up to 7'4", 7'5" on that mound, above the rest of the players. So the statue of Fitz Stadler stands on the mound now, facing Jimmy Titus.
With the win earlier, Chatham is now 2-1 on the season. They are looking for their first Cape League title since 2001 as Jimmy Titus, the DH, steps in and takes a ball outside, 1-0. Or rather, their last championship since 1988. They haven't been in a championship game since 2001. That one's slicing foul down the right field line, 1 ball, 1 strike.
We didn't mention that Nick Patton just hit his second home run of the day. He homered in game 1.
All right.
We hadn't seen that many home runs this year, but Nick Patton now 2 home runs today. Granted, they were 2 different games, but flashing the power for sure. Both opposite field as well.
Stadler's 1-1 pitch to Titus, slicing away foul down the right field line again and out of play. Now the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs and a 3-0 lead for the Anglers in the bottom of the first. So a red-hot Nick Patton. Have yourself a day. 2 home runs, a 2-run homer and a 3-run homer. Or rather, 2 2-run homers. A check swing from Titus. He goes around. He strikes out and now will end the inning. But the Chatham A's, they get 3 runs in this inning and a 2-run shot from Nick Patton. So 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and no men left on. It's a 3-0 lead for the Chatham Anglers. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
At tonight's game, David and Martha Metzdorf are here.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Well, the same script is being written tonight in Chatham. The A's scored 3 runs in the bottom of the first in Game 1. They do the same thing in Game 2. Nick Patton, 2 2-run home runs in both games so far.
Yeah, Patton has a lot of power. He's showing that right now. Maybe not the guy you expected on this Chatham lineup, but the Delaware University product.
Luke Bonfield takes a strike to start off the second inning.
He is a freshman Louisville Slugger All-American and did have 14 home runs this year for the Blue Hens.
0-1 pitch is outside. 1 ball, or rather there's 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, Nick Patton, you got to watch out for him in this lineup now. Red hot. He's probably going to be going for a third today.
2-0 is sent on a line to right field. Making the catch is Olson. He retires Bonfield, 1 gone.
You know what? Bonfield lined that one out pretty hard, but good contact there from Bonfield, just to the wrong spot. I like that piece of hitting, though, opposite field by the Arkansas Razorback product after he didn't have a great first game with Wareham in Game 1 of this series, going 0 for 3 with a double play ground out.
Blake Sable is in left field tonight. He is at the plate with 1 out in a 3-0 lead for the Anglers, showing bunt, and went for it all the way. The ball was outside, and he misses it completely. No balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, as a lefty, you got to pull back on that outside pitch on a bunt because you're probably already leaving the batter's box as a lefty, or as a...
Trying to pull it again. He does this time. The bunt. So now it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman at Veterans Field. A 3-0 lead for the Anglers over the Gatemen. Here comes the 1-1 from Signor. Inside and low. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Signor's a big body out there on the mound. A lot of weight. Really shifts his weight towards the plate. And a pretty heavy arm.
Signor's 2-1. Check swing. Did he go? No, says third base umpire Rick Emerson.
And that was close for sure.
So now a 3-1 count to Blake Sable with 1 out in the inning and a 3-0 lead for the Anglers. 3-1. Swung on and missed. Now a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And Sable was 0 for 2 back in Game 1. We've seen him all over the field on defense, but here he is in the batter's box, a big position for Wareham in the second inning.
Signor's 3-2, a breaking ball, called strike 3. That's the second time home plate umpire Bob Aquino has had a delayed call on a called strike 3, but he got into it right there, 2 gone.
Yeah, Aquino is really fooling the hitters on those called strike 3s. It's about a second or 2 delayed compared to most umpires.
It's very noticeable.
Absolutely, and that's the second strikeout looking for the pitcher Signor, and a 3rd total strikeout, so he's dealing.
Now the batter is Jake Anchia. He takes a ball inside, 1-0. He's the DH today after catching in Game 1 and going 0 for 2 with a walk. 1-0 taken for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Signor, a 3.26 ERA at Fairfield this past season. 1-1 is slammed up in the air, very deep to left field. Going back is Coppins, and he makes the catch. He fell down and didn't know where the baseball was because of the fog, but he retires Anchia to end the inning. What a play by Coppins in left field. So the Gatemen go 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, and no men left on. And Chatham still leads it. We're headed to the bottom of the second here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Chatham.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the visiting team, the Wareham Gatemen, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2017 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Chatham Bars Inn, the Fuller Family Foundation, Dunkin' Donuts, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod Potato Chips, Friendly's Ice Cream, Baseball Factory, Cape and Island License Plate, 47 Brand, Cape Cod 5 Cents Saving Bank, Stop and Shop, Peapod. We'll be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. A 3-0 lead for the Anglers over the Gatemen. Kyle Noth, the catcher, will face Fitz Stadler. Or rather, Antonio Relat will face Stadler. My mistake there.
Yeah, and that last hit by Anchia out to left field, that fly ball to the track, looked like it might have been going if the wind was not coming directly from that direction.
1-0 chopped right back to Stadler. He couldn't stab at it. McIver picks it up in time and still no. Relat safe. A tough play from Stadler going to his right off the mound.
That's pretty interesting because I remember watching that drill in practice and that coaching staff saying, do never use your bare hand if it's rolling, and that ball was rolling. And if he didn't use his bare hand, he had no chance. Tried using the bare hand, almost made the great play. That was Willie McIver at third base.
Jeremy Pena, the shortstop, will step in with a runner on first base. Runner is Relat here in the bottom of the second with Chatham up 3-0. First pitch swinging and slicing it foul is Pena 0-1.
We didn't see Relat in the first game. He's now on first base. He's from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Goes to the University of Alabama at Birmingham, which recently cut their football program, most notably in their news.
Pena awaiting the 0-1 with a runner on first. Here it comes. It's in the dirt and blocked nicely by the catcher, Noth. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Relat the runner at first. Stadler looking over now, is ready to set. He deals it, and a big swing and a miss from Pena. Now he's behind in the count, 1-2.
We'd just like to clear, this is not the same Pena that you saw in the first game. That was Fabian Pena. This is now Jeremy Pena at shortstop.
No relation.
No relation either. Pena's a pretty common last name.
The 1-2 swung on a miss. It was in the dirt. Nicely blocked by the catcher, Noth, but doesn't matter. The first out comes on a swinging strikeout from Jeremy Pena. That Gateman strikeout was brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exirfaz, and Bullard.
It's Exafaris. It's a really tough name to pronounce. I did it last game. Exafaris. Really tough name to pronounce.
Come on, man. You got to say that right.
It's a last name that starts with an X. Very rare that we see that kind of stuff.
This is Mason Coppins, the left fielder, with a runner going, but he fouls it straight back to the netting.
Once again, the hit and run attempt by the Chatham Anglers coaching staff. It looked like Coppins was swinging no matter what that ball was doing, unless it was maybe in the dirt or behind him or something.
So Coppins at the plate right now. Came in to pinch hit last game, or pinch run rather. The 0-1, is sent into right field on a line. Getting to it is Shattuck, and going from first to third is Relat. Holding up at first is Coppins, but now it's a pickle attempt. Coppins is caught. Robbie Metz trying to tag him out. Does he? But the run's going to score. Confusion all over the field. The run scores. Relat comes home. He goes from first to home. They do call Coppins out.
And it's a poorly executed rundown by the Gatemen. Robbie Metz, for some reason, decided to chase the runner Coppins all the way down from second to first. He got the out, but if he had a guy at first, there was no one covering it. You're supposed to make lines on the pickle, and there was no one covering first base. Metz was chasing him down, and with that, the runner Relat was able to score all the way from first base on that play.
So now it is a 4-0 game with Chatham on top. So Relat comes around to score. He goes from first to home on that play. And now the batter, DJ Artis, steps in.
During the rundown, you have to know where you're going.
Pitch outside and away. 1 ball and no strikes.
I'd love to know how to score that last play on the out on Coppins.
1-0 becomes 2-0.
But either way, Chatham extending their lead, but of course those pickles are always tough to score.
Here comes the 2-0 from Fitzstadler. That is popped up out to center field. Going back is Angelini. He'll size it up and make the catch to retire the side. So the Chatham Anglers get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on. They now lead it 4-0. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Continuing with our corporate sponsors, we also want to recognize and thank Franklin Sports, Advanced Embroidery, Cape Destinations, Robert B. R., Sullivan Tire, Vacation Inn Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists, Cape Cod Times, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, Next Radio, Yellow Book, TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce, HP Hood, Sunderland Printing, and Axis Bats. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support. Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products.
State, number 15, Kyle Knox.
Back here at Veterans Field, Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. It is a 4-0 lead for the Anglers. And coming up to the plate is Kyle Noth. It'll be Noth, Robbie Metz, and Ben Baird, the last half of the order for the Gatemen, to face John Signor.
This is Noth's first start of the season. He came in as a pinch hitter in 1 game, but
pitch outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And the center fielder from the last game, Tanner Dodson, is now warming up in the bullpen.
Don Sneddon did tell us that he would see some action in as a pitcher today. Pop up in the infield. Coming over is the third baseman, Relat, and he puts Noth away. 1 gone.
Interesting play there. That's probably not usually the third baseman's ball, but Relat coming over had to be careful of the mound there. Didn't want to trip over the mound, staring up into the sky, trying to get that pop-up, but makes the play on Noth, who's in his first start of the season out of Nichols State in Louisiana.
Robbie Metz, the second baseman, will step in. Was not in the lineup for game 1. Now finds himself facing Signor with a 4-0 lead for Chatham. Takes a curveball outside, 1-0. And when you talk about Chatham, you have to mention their manager, John Schiffner. He's in his 25th season, longest tenured manager here on the Cape. Robbie Metz sends one deep to left field. Going back is Coppins, and he makes the catch. Metz set it for a ride, but the wind a factor again, 2 gone.
Once again, that left field, not the way you want to hit it right now. We've seen 2 balls off Chatham bats go opposite field to right, and those both left the ballpark off the stick of Nick Patton. But those balls to left are getting hung up in the wind, going really high in the air and falling short of the fence.
Ben Baird, the shortstop, will step in. Yeah, Schiffner, 25 years at the helm here in Chatham at Veterans Field. Baird awaiting the first pitch of the at-bat. Takes a strike, 0-1. Cape League head coaches in general, 104 years combined of head coaching in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Schiffner, 25 years, a big part of that number. The 0-1 outside on a fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. He's coaching third this season. Last time he did it was 2009. He was asked why he was coaching third again this year. He said, because I'm in charge and I want to. The 1-1 is low and outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. And he definitely has all the power to say he wants to play, he wants to coach third. He's got over 500 career wins.
Yeah, this is his team here in Chatham, and you know, a lot of coaches, some coaches do want to play that third base coach role. They like being closer to the game when their team is hitting. They like making those calls, those signs.
Signor's 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed by Baird. Now the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Schiffner was a player with the Harwich Mariners in 1974 through 1977. He's been with the Cape League for a long time. The 2-2 pitch from Signor is popped up out to right field. Sizing it up is Jacob Olson. He retires Baird to end the inning. So the Gatemen go 1-2-3, no runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. The Anglers still lead it 4-0. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Now we send it over for an update from Connor Federico. Connor.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Before we go around the Cape, let's do some College World Series updates. Louisville, the 7th-ranked team in the country, they've defeated Texas A&M by a score of 8-4. That was earlier this afternoon. And currently in Omaha, national seeds going at it. Number 3, Florida, they have a 1-0 lead over the TCU Horned Frogs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Now on to Cape League Baseball. The Orleans Firebirds, they are cruising on their way to their first win of the season. They have an 0-4 record right now, but in the bottom of the 6th, they lead the Falmouth Commodores 9-3 right now. Falmouth took the first game of today's doubleheader at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. They'll probably drop this one to Orleans. They have 1 inning to try to get 6 runs. At White House Field in Harwich, second game between the Harbor Hawks of Hyannis and the Mariners of Harwich was called a 0-0 tie after 7 innings. Game decided didn't want to go on, and we have a postponement, as we've said all day, between the YD Red Sox and the Bourne Braves. Katuitt Kettleers won 2-1 today in Lowell Park, and that's it for this Around the Cape update. Send it back to Jacob and Sam.
Thank you very much, Connor. Bottom of the 4th at Veterans Field. Bottom of the 3rd as the Anglers have a 4-0 lead over the Wareham Gatemen. Jake Palomaki, Jacob Olson, and Nick Patton set to face the new right-handed pitcher, Tanner Dotson. That bunt goes foul from Palomaki, 0-1.
Yeah, and we saw the arm action from Tanner Dotson in center field last game. He threw out a player at first base, and his fastball can touch 94, 95 miles per hour. Not bad for a guy that doubles as a hitter. Went 2-6 with a 5.37 ERA in 2017 with the California Golden Bears out in the Pac-12.
0-1, breaking ball, in for a strike, quickly 0-2. He's a former teammate of Preston Grand Prix who played with the Gatemen in 2015 and 2016. Grand Prix, of course, with the Orleans Firebirds, got drafted this year. The 0-2 pitch from Dotson, that was a fastball with a lot of velocity, but it skips to the backstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And we'd like to get a pitch clock on Dotson, honestly. It would be interesting to see what his fastball will touch today. You know, it's been clocked maybe 94, 95, but that was way back in high school.
1-2 in the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dotson originally was a starter this past season at Cal, but he lost his role as a starter in March. Continued to work out of the pen. 19 appearances, a 5.37 ERA. Had a couple saves as a mound visit from Noth, the catcher. They're talking it over right now. He was a 2-time MVP and 2-time All-League selection in high school. Drafted out of high school, 31st round by the New York Mets in 2015. Decided to go to Cal.
Not Kyle Noth behind the plate today. Very good defensive catcher.
2-2 rip foul on the third base line, hits the netting.
No errors and no pass balls in 2017 at first base and at catcher for Nicholls State University, the Menville, Louisiana native.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Palomaki. Jacob Olson waiting on deck. Palomaki walked and came around to score his first time up. Chops this one in the infield. Coming over is the shortstop Baird on the run. Guns him down for the first out of the bottom of the third. So that'll bring up Jacob Olson. He doubled, RBI doubled, and came around to score back in the first. There were more on Tanner Dodson, talking to head coach Don Snedden. Snedden knows he can throw 95 on his fastball, but can he pitch 95 is what Snedden says, and what he means by that is his command. They're really trying to work on his command as Olson swings at the first pitch and hits one down the third baseline just past head coach John Schiffner. Foul, 0-1.
Yeah, we don't expect to see too much of Tanner Dodson here this season as a pitcher, although you never know. I mean, today, doubleheader situation, not that bad to have that extra arm.
0-1, right back to Dodson. He'll run it over, flip to his first baseman Bonfield for the second out. So Nick Patton will come up. He's hit 2 two-run home runs today. He has just been on fire. And he's a big part of why the Chatham Anglers are up 4-0 right now. Now this is what California head coach David Esker said about Tanner Dodson. He said he's an all-around baseball player. People follow him because he can pitch, he can hit. He's that baseball guy. Like in Little League, the best guy on the team that does everything. He surely does.
Absolutely, and it's more common, obviously, in the younger years.
Patton takes ball 1-0.
It's more common for younger guys to play multiple positions, but it's very rare that you see a college player who can pitch, who can play center. Although we have seen Robbie Metz pitch once or twice here in Wareham.
That ball in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. His father, Bo Dodson, played professional baseball. Drafted in the 3rd round to the Milwaukee Brewers. First baseman and never actually made it to the majors. Career .288 hitter in the minors. That one inside as well. 3 balls and no strikes. His dad was also a pitcher / infielder. He pitched 4 innings in 4 games in the minors. So it runs in the family.
Definitely, and I'd definitely watch out on this 3-0 pitch to Nick Patton. It wouldn't even be a bad idea to just intentionally walk him right here on a 3-0. But Nick Patton just...
3-0 taken for a strike on a fastball, 3-1.
You'd think he'd have the green light already with 2 home runs today. And 4 RBIs to add on to that. Have a day, Nick Patton out of Delaware.
That's what you call a stat sheet stuffer.
He also doubled in the first game in the first inning and came around to score. And that double...
3-1 from Dodson in the dirt, and Patton will go down to first base with 2 outs in the inning and Chatham up 4-0.
That double was a 2 RBI double back in the first inning. So he has 6 RBIs today. Pretty impressive stuff, and now he's back on with a walk. Not quite as good as a bomb to left, but
hey, he's on base.
I'm sure he'll take it.
His on base percentage will like that. Cody Roberts will step in.
His on base percentage is probably through the roof right now.
Fog's starting to come in even more here at Veterans Field as Roberts takes the strike, 0-1.
And if you look up to where the lights are, you can just really see it just rolling through. And fly balls are going to be quite an interesting story here.
The 0-1 in the dirt, blocked by the catcher Noth, has to scoot out of the way of the batter's box, but he gets it, 1-1.
Angelini's not a guy we saw in the first game, but here for excuse me, here for the second game in center field.
1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs. This one chopped to Metz at second, and he'll flip to his shortstop Baird at second for the 4-6 putout to end the inning. So no runs on no hits, no errors, just one man left on. The Chatham Anglers still lead at 4-0 over the Gatemen. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
A 4-0 ball game here at Veterans Field. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. 4-0 in favor of the Chatham Anglers. Happy Father's Day. Dana Toby, my dad. Love you, man.
And I already wish my dad a happy Father's Day in
you can do it
Game 1,
again.
but I'm going to do it again.
Pay homage to him.
And we're at just about 7:24 Central Standard Time, and I hope he's listening to this game too, down in Florida.
Pensacola, Florida, you said?
Absolutely. Also home to Wareham Gatemen Brandon Lockridge, who's not in the lineup for Game 2. But back to the actual baseball game, this pitcher, John Signor, has looked really impressive, retiring the first 9 Gatemen. And you have to wonder, in a league where pitchers don't normally go longer than 5 innings, if he gets through this one, we'll see if his coaching staff has confidence in him going longer than these first 4.
And he shattered the batter. Flew out to right field his first time up. Takes a ball. 1-0. It's Shatted, Angelini, and McIver due up in the top of the 4th. And again, a 4-0 lead for the Anglers. Stepping off the mound is Signor for a moment.
Shatted, the Peoria, Illinois native. And we saw him get off to a red-hot start with the Gatemen this season. Then kind of tailed off these last few games. Looked really good in preseason, and that earned him a roster spot for now, and he's done well so far. He's came into today hitting .308, but did go 0 for 3 in the first game, so that average has probably dipped below 300 at this point, but we'll see what he can do here leading off this inning.
Catcher Roberts was out to talk to Signor on the mound. Now they're ready. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and it's cut on and missed. 1 ball and 1 strike to Andy Shatted, the right fielder today for Wareham. With no score in the top of the 4th, Wareham trails at 4-0. Here comes the 1-1. Off speed, breaking ball, and a swing and a miss, 1-2. Angelini waits on deck with Shatted at the plate. Signor looking for the signs, winds, kicks, and deals the 1-2. Breaking ball, nicked to the shortstop Pena. He'll throw to first on the run and retires Shatted, 1 gone in the top of the 4th.
A tough play for Pena as a big wind gust came in there right as he played that ball at shortstop. Made a nice throw on the run to the first baseman, Patton. And the first 13 batters have been retired now by this pitcher, John Signor.
Nick Angelini, the center fielder, struck out swinging his first time up. Now to the plate. Breaking ball missing just a bit outside, 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. That is hit foul behind home plate. 1-1.
We didn't see Angelini in Game 1, but he's in here at center for Game 2. Hit .333 this year with Bryant.
1-1. Taken for a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We have to wait a second for home plate umpire Bob Aquino to give us the call.
It was the same last game with home plate umpire with the other home plate umpire, Rick Emerson.
The 1-2 taken outside for a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
But both of them have a pretty delayed call on that. Maybe one of them's picked up after the other. Who knows? It could be a...
Signor delivers the 2-2, and whiffing at it and missing is Angelini. So Angelini goes down, swinging, 2 gone.
And not a great at-bat for Angelini there. His first at-bat of the day, kind of just went up there, hacked on a few off-speed pitches. A great off-speed pitch on 0-2 there from Signor out of Fairfield University, and Angelini with his second consecutive strikeout swing to start this game.
McIver takes a ball inside, 1-0. McIver struck out looking to end the first. Angelini, who just struck out, that was Signor's 4th strikeout of the outing so far. 1-0 up high, 2 balls and no strikes with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Chatham up 4-0.
A few of the first games, we haven't really seen Coach Don Sneddon stacking the middle of the lineup, but this 3-4-5 of McIver, Bonfield, Sable is very important.
This one driven foul down the third base line, chopping and hopping. 2 balls and 1 strike.
McIver's already proven that he's one of the best hitters on this team, and we know Luke Bonfield's coming in here from Arkansas, has a great bat, can really swing, and Blake Sable, of course, one of the top catchers coming out of high school. He's a great player.
2-1, popped up in the infield. Now it's going towards the outfield. The wind took it, coming over and letting it bounce was the right fielder Olson. Didn't know where it went. Going to second is McIver. That fog is an issue right now in the outfield, as now McIver finds himself at second base. We'll see how they score it.
It's a white baseball, and clouds and fog for the most part are a white substance. So it's got to be tough. I mean, I honestly couldn't relate because I don't think I've ever actually played baseball. I don't really play baseball much, but I don't think I've ever played baseball in these conditions. So it's probably very tough to see those fly balls out there in the outfield. And the fog is getting deeper and thicker and thicker and thicker as the night rolls on. It's going to be interesting to see what it's like at the end of this game.
Bonfield is the batter, takes a curveball for a ball, 1-0. So McIver at second base with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Chatham up 4-0. Signor looks on at second, delivers his 1-0. Taken for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes.
Bonfield would have liked to have had a better first game as a Gateman this season. Did not register a hit in game 1 of today's doubleheader, going 0 for 3 with a double play ground out.
2-0, taken for a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike to Bonfield, who lined out to right field his first time up.
And his Arkansas Razorbacks team was eliminated from the NCAA tournament in heartbreaking fashion this season by Missouri State in their own regional.
Signor's 2-1 to Bonfield. Bit outside, 3 balls and 1 strike, a nice hitter's count.
So you know Luke Bonfield's coming here looking for a new start, a new team, new faces around him.
Well, not a new team per se.
Oh, I mean, not a new team, but
new start to a new season.
A lot of new players on this team, of course.
3-1 swinging, and he missed all of that one. It was a curveball. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
A new team roster-wise, with the exception of a few guys that were here last year. But new faces to surround himself with, and a wood bat in his hand.
So McIver at second. And Bonfield at the plate with 2 outs and a 4-0 lead for the Anglers. And Bonfield will go down to first base. The ball rolls all the way to the backstop. Heading to third base will be McIver. And now runners at the corners for the Wareham Gatemen.
Yeah, McIver was going to advance on that 10 times out of 10 as the ball rolled all the way back to the brick wall behind home plate. Wrigley Field-esque low brick wall here behind home plate.
It's a good comparison.
It really is, except there aren't thousands and thousands of green seats behind it, which would be kind of cool if that was a thing here in Chatham, but not quite. The facilities for that.
Blake Sable, the left fielder, will step in, struck out looking back in the second. McIver at third, Bonfield at first. And a big swing and miss from Sable. He was looking for the fastball, he got it, he just missed it, 0-1. Sable, 2 home runs, 16 RBIs, batted .250 this year at Southern Cal. Signor waiting for the signs, delivers the 0-1, breaking ball just a bit inside. Crowd doesn't like it though, 1-1.
You know, I thought that was a strike all the way. That was a great breaking ball by Signor, and he's been getting those today, those corner breaking ball calls, and surprising that that was not a strike on Sable, but
1-1, breaking ball in the dirt. Ball gets away from the catcher Roberts for a moment, but he scurries over to handle it in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike to Sable.
Roberts was not the catcher that you saw for Chatham in game 1. It's UNC Chapel Hill product, Cody Roberts. Last game it was the other Pena.
Signor's 2-1 is slicing into left field, making a diving effort is Coppins. He makes the grab. Or no, does he not? He doesn't make the grab. He thought he did, but the home plate umpire says no, he didn't. And now the run will score. That was McIver. RBI single for Blake Sable, and the Gatemen get their first run of the day. They still trail at 4-1 in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, I thought he caught that too, so it was one of the other members of this broadcast team that decided to point that out and to us that was not a catch. Good eye there from that member to remain unnamed. Now, big spot for Jake Anchia here, who's sitting in the 6th hole as opposed to the 4 hole, which is what he's used to this year.
I said bottom of the 4th. It is still the top of the 4th. So Anchia will come up with runners at 1st and 2nd. Inning started with Shadid grounding out, Angelini striking out, then McIver fighting his way to second base with the right fielder Olsen having trouble with a pop-up. It bounced and McIver found himself at second. Bonfield then walks, and then Sable gets the RBI single.
You mentioned the contagious nature of this Gatemen lineup. The first 11 batters of this lineup were retired, and now all of a sudden 3 consecutive batters put on base.
2-1 to Anchia, taken for a strike.
Really good breaking ball there on the inside corner from Signor. This is a big batter for him with 2 runners on.
Pitch is chopped foul down the third base line. Oh, no balls and 1 strike. Scoreboard had it wrong up there. Got to keep me on my toes.
They've been doing a great job on the scoreboard. We've seen some wrong scoreboards this year so far, but for the most part, the Chatham scoreboard operator has been on point.
No balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Taken outside by Anchia. Now 1-2. Fog still rolling in at Veterans Field. Chatham still has a 4-1 lead over the Gatemen. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Signor delivers the 1-2. That's popped up. Will it go out of play? It will. Barely goes out of play. Just slicing the netting on the fan side. Bounces off the bricks in front of a couple fans and skitters away. Some kids going to catch that one.
And that gave us a pretty decent idea of what the fog kind of looks like here when that ball gets popped up. That ball wasn't even that high in the air, and you still saw that the ball was a lot dimmer than it usually is, so you can't imagine what a full fly ball to the outfield looks like for those guys out there in left, center, and right. Right now it's Coppins, Artis, and Olsen out there in the outfield for Chatham.
Now the catcher, Roberts, is kneeling on one knee, his right knee tying his shoe, lacing it back up. Now the catcher, Roberts, is ready. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Anchia with Bonfield at second, Sable at first. 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Wareham got a run. They still trail it 4-1. Here comes Signor's pitch. Hit foul straight back to the screen, and we'll do it again.
Anchia, one of those D2 players that gets here to the Cape League, and it's really interesting. Facing a lot, probably tougher competition on the mound than they would in college. Most of these pitchers from D1 schools, Anchia coming out of Nova Southeastern. Granted, they're one of the best D2 schools there are.
The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. So now the count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Really good.
Last summer we saw Adrian Tovalin coming from Azusa Pacific, which is a D2 school. He then gets drafted this year, so it can happen.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Anchia go in a late round.
2-2 is chopped in the infield to the second baseman Palomaki on to first. Retires Anchia, and that'll end the inning. But the Gatemen get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on. It's now 4-1 still in favor of Chatham. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
All-Star Game Weekend starts with a celebrity softball game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's All-Star Cape Cod.
Welcome back to the Gatemen Baseball Network. Claudia came alongside John Sneddon. So, Coach, what are you telling the guys in between these innings, trying to get them to get this spark back into this game?
Well, obviously it's a terrible night to play this game, but it's both same for both sides. And Patton, their hitters, got 2 home runs, and we didn't pitch him right, and that's the difference in this ball game right now. We should be closer in that. But we gave him first pitch fastball, give him all the credit. He hit it out.
Do you think the things are finally starting to come together when we got that last run?
Well, I mean, they aren't giving up. None of these guys give up. They compete. They're professionals with all that stuff. So, you know, it's tough conditions, but they're out here to play, and I'm proud of their effort.
Great. Thanks, Don. Back to you, Jacob.
Thank you, Claudia. That was our Claudia came in with head coach Don Sneddon. Bottom of the 4th at Veterans Field, 4-1 in favor of the Anglers. And Jimmy Titus, the DH, takes a ball outside 1-0 from Tanner Dodson, who's on the hill for his 2nd inning of work. Titus struck out to end the 1st inning. Takes another ball, 2 balls and no strikes. It'll be Titus, Ralat, and Pena in this inning. Dodson's 1-1, check swing. Called a strike anyway by home plate umpire Bob Aquino. 2 balls, or rather 1 ball and 2 strikes.
In a 7-inning game, the Gatemen only have 3 more opportunities to score, so every inning very important.
That ball whizzes to the backstop on the ground. Count even, 2-2.
Of course, every inning is important in any baseball game, but even more so important when you have 2 less to work with. And Titus is a great hitter at the plate right now.
2-2 from Dodson is swung on and missed. A breaking ball swung and missed by Titus. That's the first out of the inning.
Number 9 from the University of Alabama, Birmingham, Antonio Ralat.
So 1 gone in the bottom of the 4th. That'll bring up Antonio Ralat. Ralat will face Dodson. Takes a first pitch strike, 0-1.
Ralat actually singled and ended up scoring back in the 2nd inning.
Takes a ball, 1-1 is the count. So 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. Chatham still up 4-1. This one chopped foul. Ralat, the batter, will hit this one to Baird it short. 2-step throw on to first. And retires Ralat. 2 gone quickly here in the bottom of the 4th.
The shortstop from the University of Maine, number 14, Jeremy.
So now that'll bring up Jeremy Pena, the shortstop. He struck out back in the 2nd inning.
And pretty impressive performance so far from Tanner Dodson, 2 innings through.
Dodson's first pitch in the dirt.
You know, A few pitches into that first at-bat, it looked like he was kind of all over the place with that fastball, but he settled in nicely. Got that strikeout to start this inning.
Dotson's 1-0 is ripped to the first baseman Bonfield. Nicely done. Knelt down on one knee and retires Pena by himself, unassisted, to end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on base. And the Gatemen still trail it 4-1. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Give the gift of life. Donating blood is an easy, quick, safe way to save a life. Blood collected at Cape Cod Healthcare blood drives stay on Cape Cod and is used to treat people here. For information on upcoming blood drives, or if your organization is interested in sponsoring a blood drive, visit capecodhealth.org or call 508-862-5278. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
To the 5th we go at Veterans Field. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. It's 4-1. The Chatham Anglers lead it over the Wareham Gatemen. It'll be Kyle Noth, Robbie Metz, and Ben Baird, the bottom half of the order for Wareham.
Big spot here for the lefty catcher Kyle Noth.
And first pitch swinging is Noth. Sends this one out to left center field. Coming over is Coppins. Makes the grab. One pitch, one out.
And Coppins saw that one all the way. Didn't seem to lose it at all in that dense fog here in Chatham. Now Robbie Metz getting his opportunity here. Didn't see him in the first game, but we know what he's capable of. Was here last year. Of course, had 23 multi-hit games.
Metz will take a first pitch strike. 0-1. He flew out to left field back in the third for his only at-bat of the day.
This is a guy that started every single game for his George Washington Colonials program this year. A go-to guy out there.
Signors 0-1. Low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
This is a guy you'd like to see get this inning going for Wareham. They did get a run last inning.
1-1. Taken for a late called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
But they need more. They had an opportunity to get more than one. They had 2 runners on base after McIver came across the plate, but Anchia grounded out.
Signors 1-2 to Metz. Got a piece of it. So
Just
he'll stay
barely.
alive. Nick Silva is warming in the Chatham bullpen. Signor has been strong so far. 4 strikeouts, 1 earned run. Through 4 1/3. This one chipped foul as well, so Metz staying alive at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out, and Chatham leading it 4-1 in the top of the 5th.
If Silva comes in, it'll be another righty for Chatham. They only have a few lefties on their roster. But they'd be going to
1-2, breaking ball missing inside, 2-2.
good eye there from Metz. That was a breaking ball that almost came back in the zone, but he recognized that that one was hanging a little bit inside, and was able to lay off of it. Tough pitch to lay off of on a pitcher's count where he had to really fight anything off.
Had to get a new ball. Maybe the moisture was an issue. Signor now has it. Deals to Metz, the 2-2. And a high fastball, a high heater. Up and away, fools Metz, and he went swinging. 2 gone here in the 5th. That'll bring up Ben Baird. Baird at shortstop today. A Washington product, 6'2", 185-pound infielder. Bats from the right side. Played 43 games this past season. Batted .091 and sends this one right up the middle. Coming over is Palomaki at second base. Nicely done, ranging to his right, throws out Baird. And the Gatemen go 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, no men left on. It is still 4-1 in favor of the Anglers. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
All-Star Game Weekend starts with the Celebrity Softball Game on July 21st at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Come watch Jason Veritek, Bill Lee, Nancy Kerrigan, Scott Zolak, and other celebrities play ball in support of the Cape Cod Baseball League and Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital of Cape Cod. Gates open at 4 p.m. For more information and to buy tickets, go to allstarcapecod.org. That's allstarcapecod.org. The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports.
Bottom of the fifth we go. Jacob Toby alongside Sam Corman. 4-1 lead for the Chatham Anglers over the Wareham Gatemen. Tanner Dodson still on the mound for Wareham. It'll be Mason Coppins, the left fielder, to lead it off. Then back to the top of the order, DJ Artis and Jake Palomaki.
As the fog continues to dense here in Chatham, it just seems like the thick layer is just getting lower and lower and lower.
It sinks into almost a basin is what we're in here at Veterans Field. Dodson's first pitch, going around to bunt, was Coppins. No balls and 1 strike. Coppins singled back in the second inning, but was then caught in the rundown. Dodson's 0-1. Just a bit inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
A fun fact about Coppins is Coppins and I actually went to rival high schools, but of course I never knew him. He's a Louisiana native.
1-1, misses again, 2 balls and 1 strike.
But Salisbury School out in Connecticut was really impressive. Actually won a New England championship with that school when he was in high school. Went 21-0 with that team.
It's pretty insane.
Only 21 games though. Is that? I feel like that's not that many for even for a high school team.
2-1, in for a strike on a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, maybe there was an injury somewhere, or maybe there was just something that happened.
21 games for the team. I mean,
okay,
they went 21-0 that year. Very impressive season for the Salisbury Crimson Knights.
2-2, chopped foul into the Wareham dugout. Nice grab by one of the Gatemen players who had their glove. Stabbed at it out of the air and saved it from going out of play. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, bottom of the fifth. And a 4-1 lead for Chatham. Here comes Dodson's pitch. That's ripped down the third base line. Diving stab made by McIver. Throws over to first and not in time. A close play, but Coppins barely beats it out by an inch.
As soon as McIver made that play, I knew there was no chance he was making that play because Coppins is one of the fastest guys in this league. 12 of 13 stolen bases with the Rockville Express in 2016. Also 6 triples this year with Northeastern University, the Huskies. So Coppins, no way that McIver was beating that out.
Here comes DJ Artis. He's flown out to center field twice in this game. But now he's got a runner in Mason Coppins at first base. Oh, nice play by McIver at third, extending all the way down the third baseline. His first pitch is in for a ball, 1-0. But the throw is just to tabulate. That's a tough play by a third baseman ranging all the way over.
A really tough play, and I think he would have had most runners, honestly. It's just that Coppins is the wrong guy to have on that particular play because he just flies down the first baseline.
Time called at the plate by Artis.
You know who else flies is this guy, DJ Artis.
Awaiting the 1-0. Here it comes from Dodson. A fastball up and away. 2 balls and no strikes. And now, pitching coach Jim Lawler is going to come out to the mound and talk it over with Dodson. It's going back to the discussion we had about John Schiffner. He has just been a baseball guru. His high school teams, when he was coaching high school, were always the favorites in state tournaments. They made 31 out of 33 years of coaching. They made the state tournament in Connecticut. 2001, he was named the District 1 Division III National Coach of the Year. This guy has a lot of pedigree.
Yeah, and he did it at a high school with, not a lot of people. And, the best high schools usually are the ones with the most people to choose from. Plainfield in Connecticut, not a big town, and that's very impressive what he was able to do there.
Dotson's 2-0, skipping through the legs of the catcher Noth, and going to second base is Coppins. So now 3 balls and no strikes is the count. Coppins advancing to second. Now Artis has a runner in scoring position. Yeah, Schiffner just knows a ton of baseball. In 2000, he was named the Connecticut High School Baseball Coach of the Year.
A lot of Connecticut guys in this game.
Dotson's 3-0, taken 4 strikes smartly by Artis.
Coppins played in Connecticut, but he's not from Connecticut. Originally from New Orleans. Metairie, Louisiana, which is a part of New Orleans.
Dotson's 3-1 to Artis is shown for bunt down the first base line. And will it be fair? It will. And the Gatemen can't get a tag down because the first baseman, Bonfield, couldn't play it on the hop. It went in and out of the glove. Coming over was Dodson. He couldn't get the baseball to tag out Artis.
Yeah.
The bunt wasn't the best bunt in the world either.
Yeah, the bunt right down the first baseline might have rolled foul, might have stayed fair though, but Bonfield made the right play playing that ball with the runner right in front of him there in Artis, but looks like they called this a foul ball.
Oh, now they call it a foul ball. That was not.
It looked like it bounced
on the line. That was not the case 20 seconds ago. So Artis still alive at the plate with a full count. Runner still at second base. Here comes the 3-2. That one sent foul. Right past John Schiffner. So no outs in the bottom half of the 5th inning with the Wareham Gatemen trailing 4-1, trailing the Chatham Anglers. 3-2 to Artis is sent on a hop to McIver at third, looks back the runner at second, guns him down at first. And Artis was almost safe, but he is gunned down for the first out of the inning.
Willie McIver didn't make that play to start that inning on Coppins, but 2 very good defensive plays by McIver. That was textbook. Made the play with the backhand pick, then checked the runner at second and went to first. Nice and calm the entire time for McIver at third base. He's really impressed me this year from Washington. One of the best hitters out there in the Pac-12. Doing a great job for the Gatemen so far this year in 4 games.
Coppins still at second base. A first pitch ball thrown to Jake Palomaki. 0 for 1 on the day. Walked and came around to score back in the first and grounded out to short in the third. Palomaki batting from the left side. Dodson looks back the runner at second, throws the 1-0, and that's sent to Robbie Metz at second base. 2-hop step throw on to first. The runner advances to third. With 2 down in the inning. Jacob Olson, the right fielder, will step in with a runner 90 feet away. Olson on the day, had an RBI double back in the second. Also came around to score and grounded out to first base in the third.
I really like the job that Tanner Dodson has done coming in here in relief for Fitzstadler, who really struggled.
First pitch in the dirt, low and away, 1-0.
He's come in here after playing center field in the first game. Has not given up a run yet. That runner is on third, but he's been sharp. 1, 2, 3 in the fourth. Only a walk in the third.
1-0. Missing again. 2-0.
But it looks like his command is there, and he's keeping the ball on the ground for the most part, which is something that Gatemen pitchers have struggled to do today. They've seen a lot of deep fly balls. We saw 2 home runs.
2-0, skips to the backstop. From third is Coppins. He's home. Scores the 5th run of the day for Chatham.
And that's tough for Kyle Noth. That's the second pass ball of the inning on him, as that one came inside, but was at a point where he can make that stop as a catcher and just got by him off the tip of his glove and rolled away towards the third base side. And easy for
Dotson 3-0, sent on a line to center field, falling in front of Angelini and in for a base hit. So Olsen finds his way to first. Coppins scored on the pass ball. It's 5-1 Chatham. And that's what Don Stan was talking about, his fastball. He can throw 95, but the command sometimes is not there. You saw that with a couple pass balls and other balls that Noth did block, but were in the dirt.
Absolutely. Noth's a great catcher. He had no pass balls this year in college. And anytime you have that stat as a full-time catcher, that's basically unheard of, honestly, for a guy like Kyle Noth, out of Nicholls State, to have no pass balls this year.
Nick Patton, the dangerous Nick Patton, at the plate. Takes a strike, 0-1. 2-run homer back in the first, and a walk in the third.
Just can't seem to retire this guy. He had a double and a home run in the first game as well. So we'll see what he brings to the table this time. Nick Patton out of Delaware.
0-1, set past Metz at second base, into right field. From first to third goes Olsen, and now runners at the corners again for the Chatham Anglers.
Wow, Nick Patton has really impressed.
They call that en fuego. He's on fire.
Yeah, he's just finding the holes as the Gatemen were in double play depth there for some reason, as there's 2 outs in this inning, but maybe the second baseman was just playing more towards the center, as we saw Patton go back up the middle once earlier today, but it's been pretty impressive what he's done so far. That's his 4th hit of the day, along with that walk in the 3rd inning. It just doesn't seem like he's going down anytime soon.
Score still 5-1. Chatham over Wareham in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Corey Roberts to the plate, takes a strike from Dodson, 0-1. There is action in the Wareham bullpen. Wish I could see the number. The fog's too misty.
Yeah, all you just see is shades of blue over there down the first baseline towards the outfield.
Dodson's 0-1, blocked by Noth. Again, a pitch in the dirt. 1-1. Yeah, there's just movement over there. They seem like blue blobs, and that's about it. This fog is settling in to Veterans Field. Field is on a lower elevation than the rest of the surrounding area. Curveball taken for a strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Didn't see Cody Roberts in the first game, the catcher for Chatham, one of the lineup changes by the head coach Schiffler, and he played in the Coastal Plains League last summer for the Holy Springs Salamanders, going .245.
Dotson's 1-2 in the dirt again and away. Noth stops it from going to the backstop. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
12 RBIs as well last year in the summer for Roberts, a North Carolina Chapel Hill catcher from Johns Creek, Georgia.
This ball chipped foul into the Chatham dugout, or right near it. One of the players has it. The count, 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. A lot of 2s on the board.
Roberts is a good hitter too. .268 this year in the ACC for North Carolina, which is not a average to frown.
2-2 in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Not an average to frown upon in the ACC, one of the best baseball conferences, top to bottom.
So Jacob Olsen is the runner at third. Nick Patton, the runner at first. 2 outs in the bottom half of the 5th with Chatham up 5-1. Dodson's pitch to Roberts, sent to the shortstop Baird. He slides, he throws to first, stretched out nicely by Bonfield, and they retire Roberts. That was close. They retire Roberts to end the inning. So Chatham does get 1 more run. They get 1 run on 2 hits. No errors and 2 men left on. It's now 5-1 in favor of the Anglers. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgentcare. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgentcare.
Veterans Field loves fog. A 5-1 lead for the Anglers over the Wareham Gatemen. Jacob Toby alongside my man Sam Corman. It's going to be a new pitcher here for the Chatham Anglers. It's Nick Silva.
Yeah, Nick Silva coming in from University of Maine. A big, tall arm out of Miami, Florida. 2-2 with a 4.64 ERA this year for the Maine Black Bears, as that throw down by the catcher back to the second base almost nailed Silva in the head. He had to be very aware of what was coming right there. That was pretty scary looking, honestly. Played for the Bristol Blues in 2016, 8 games, 11 strikeouts, and a 6.75 ERA. Something to watch for. Nick Silva struggles with his command, had 47 walks in 2017. His curveball is his go-to off-speed pitch. Another righty in for we haven't seen any lefties today in both games.
Andy Shattuck is the batter. He faces Silva. First pitch low for a ball. 1-0. Silva replaces John Signor, who went 5 innings, gave up 2 hits, the 1 earned run, a walk, and 5 Ks. This one chip foul.
Impressive stuff from Signor today as he retired the first 11 Gatemen batters. Only ran into issues briefly in the 4th and 5th inning. Or just the 4th inning, excuse me. No issues in the 5th. Went 1-2-3 once again.
1-1, sent to the third baseman, Relat. 2-step hop, throws out Shattuck for the first out of the 6th.
Relat had to be aware on that play as that ball bounced right at the corner of the grass and the dirt, and sometimes it can take a funny bounce off that spot. Kind of like in golf when you're lined up on the rough or in the fairway, it's really hard to get your club in between, as just like it can force a tough bounce on that in between.
Nick Angelini tries to bunt one down the first baseline. It goes foul. And out of play, 0-1 is the count, and now the catcher, Roberts, it appeared to maybe hit him on the rebound. He walks all the way out to the mound. Now here comes head coach John Schiffner, and the entire infield surrounds the catcher, Roberts. Maybe the bat got him?
That was always my fear when I was in Little League, trying to play catcher, was that the bat of the batter was always going to hit me.
Looks to be okay. He trots back to home plate. Schiffner trots back to the dugout. Schiffner just is so enthusiastic about everything. He's a character. He's just one of those guys that's always happy to be on a baseball field.
And a Cape League legend. And one of the top Cape League legends out there.
Angelini is the batter. Takes a strike, going 1. You no doubt will be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Is there
a Cape League?
Is there a Cape League Hall of Fame? I'm not aware.
Yes, there is.
Wow. Where is it?
Here comes the 0-1. Chopped at and fouled straight back. 0-2. Used to be at the JFK Museum in Hyannis. They just moved it, or they are in the process of moving it because of some issue. A lease issue, possibly. The 0-2 pitch to Angelini. In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes, but they're moving it to a new location. Believe, could be wrong, but maybe in Yarmouth.
Well, certainly a rich and packed Hall of Fame it must be, as the number of MLB players from the Cape League continues to grow every single year. Now over 20% of current MLB players have played here.
Current Cape League president Chuck Sternovich just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. It just got announced this year. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Angelini. He sends this one on a ride to center field in the air. Artis having trouble with it, still having trouble with it, off the wall. And rounding second, heading for third is Angelini. The throw, not in time. And Angelini finds himself at third with a 1-out triple.
Yeah, it looked like the center fielder Artis had no idea where that ball was, and I don't even know if he does have a lot of speed, so he might have been able to get to that ball at the warning track had he known where it was, but he stopped well short of it. Once that ball was about halfway up, I lost complete sight of it. So the fog is really, really thick here in Chatham, and we're here with about 2 innings to go, and it continues to get lower and lower into this little valley at Veterans Field.
Willie McIver has a chance to drive in the Gatemen's second run as he finds himself at the plate. And a big cut and miss, a fastball up and away, fooled him. No balls and 1 strike. So Silva comes in, retires shattered, and then lets off a triple to Angelini. Still 5-1 Chatham. Ball in the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike.
McIver has been the big hitter for Wareham so far this season. Had a double and came around to score their only run in the 4th inning. You'd like to see him drive in a run here.
1-1. Hit foul down the first baseline and well out of play. I would say earlier in the day I could see down to the Wareham bullpen down the first baseline out in right field. And again, there's motion, there's someone warming up there, but we just don't know.
Absolutely, and you could see all those buildings out past the out in right center field. You can barely see them anymore. You can see the lights, but you can't see the buildings anymore.
The 1-2 pitch outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. In right center field on the street is actually the fire department. You could see that clearly when we started here today. Now you can't.
And even the flagpole in center field it's dim. In the light poles out in right center, all dim.
2-2 whiffed at and missed by McIver. He goes down swinging at a breaking ball for the second out of this 6th inning.
That's a big strikeout there for the pitcher Silva, who gave up that gave up that triple.
Now to bring up Luke Bonfield, the first baseman. He's 0 for 1 today, lined out to right field and then walked back in the 4th. And he takes a big hack. Doesn't get any of it, 0-1.
Hasn't been quite the day Luke Bonfield was hoping for his first game, but it's a long season for the Skillman, New Jersey native. And we know he can hit very well. This is a big spot for him with a runner in scoring position.
Fouls this one back, and it's quickly 0-2 with 2 outs in the inning and a 5-1 lead for Chatham.
You know, down by 4 here with 2 innings, or with just 4 outs to work with for Wareham. It's really important that they get this guy who's already at 3rd home here to cut this lead down to 3.
Silva's 0-2. Chopped and sent foul. We'll do it again.
These guys don't just get into scoring position at will. You have a runner in scoring position now, you have to take advantage of it. You had him there with 1 out. And now with 2 out after the McIver strikeout, although we've seen McIver do much more than that this year.
Home plate umpire brushing off the plate. And now we're set. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner at 3rd. It's Angelini. The Gatemen trail by 4 runs. Here comes the pitch. It's right up the middle, off the glove of the pitcher. The run scores. The throw to first is still in time. Pena got it to first and retires Bonfield. Score that 1-6-3 in your scorebook. And the Gatemen can't get their 2nd run of the day. So they score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on. They still trail it 5-1, and now we're going to send it over to Connor Federico for a Cape League update.
Thanks, Jacob. All the scores today at the Cape League are final, except here at Veterans Field. The first action of the day in 8 innings. Katuitt defeats Brewster, so that one went 1 in extras. Falmouth defeated Orleans 5-2, and Harwich defeated Hyannis 6-0. In the second round of games, Katuitt wins 2-1 over Brewster. Their record improves to 4-0. Hyannis and Harwich, they tie at 0. And then Orleans, they finished off Falmouth 9-3. Of course, YD and Bourne were both rained out today. They didn't get a chance to play. For your Eastern Division standings, YD Red Sox, they still hold a lead along with these Chatham Anglers. If this result holds here at Veterans Field, Chatham will move to 3-1, and they'll lead the East. In the West, Katuitt, I just mentioned, they're 4-0 with 8 points on the season. They lead Bourne in second with a 2-1 record, and Wareham sits at 2-2 right now. Below them, Hyannis and Falmouth. Gatemen likely moving to 2-3 unless they can get some runs together. Jacob, Sam, back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Back at Veterans Field, 5-1 lead for the Chatham Anglers.
It looks like Grant Wolfram might be on the mound. Is it 44 or 43? 43, so that's going to be Brad Case making his season debut.
Brad Case coming in for Tanner Dodson. Dodson, a nice performance. Goes 3 innings. Doesn't allow a run.
This is Case's first appearance of the season for Wareham, coming in 6 foot 7 inches from the New York suburbs in Pelham, New York, out on Long Island Sound. 5-5 with a 2.91 ERA and a staggering 207 opposing batting average this year at Rollins College. A 5.10 strikeout to walk ratio. 5 strikeouts for every walk is basically what that means.
Jimmy Titus, the DH, will face Case. Case throws a ball, 1-0.
Titus, an extremely open stance. Mentioned that in the first game. That left foot way out, middle of the batter's box with that right foot towards the back near corner towards the plate.
Case delivers another ball, 2-0. Kind of a slow motion delivery. Slow leg kick, but then fires it with his arm quickly after. Over his head as well. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Is chopped through the legs of both the catcher Noth and the home plate umpire. So 2 balls and 1 strike.
Brad Case, the pitcher, a 2015 first-team All-State player in the state of New York, a baseball-rich state, of course. And a lot of baseball players coming from the Empire State.
2-1, a big swing and a miss. Fooled Titus there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Case is a temporary contract player at the moment out of Rollins.
Has that over-the-head delivery. Brings his glove back.
Does it again. The 2-2 is sent way foul past the light post down the first base line. We'll do it again.
Haven't really seen that over-the-head delivery from any pitchers in this league so far this season. It's pretty uncommon. Yeah, I think it's getting more and more uncommon throughout the years. You see it a lot from Japanese pitchers. It's a very common mechanic out there.
High leg kick, the 2-2 pitch. Fastball missing outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Case at Rollins started all of his appearances, 14 games. He comes here to Wareham, works out of the pen in this 5-1 game right now. Wareham trailing it. Here comes the pitch. That one rocketed, and a diving play by McIver. He is playing some stellar defense today. 1 gone here in the 6th.
An impressive dive to his left by Willie McIver in the air, laying out as Titus retired for the 3rd time today. And McIver has played some solid defense, had that diving stop over there, but unfortunately couldn't retire the speedy Coppins over at first. But
Antonio Relat, the batter now, will face Case and take a strike. Really impressive defense today from Willie McIver. I can see that being a topic on the post-game show.
Absolutely, as the bats have not been alive yet today, so that certainly probably won't be a topic.
The 0-1, well, maybe it will be a topic. The 0-1 sent to Bonfield at first. He dove, he couldn't get it. He fell down as he had the baseball, then he threw over to Case, who was covering. So we'll see how they scored, but Relat finds himself on first.
Not sure what they're going to score. That one's a borderline.
And they will score that a hit.
I guess they give the defender the benefit of the doubt, more or less, in those borderline plays here in the Cape League, it seems.
Jeremy Pena, the shortstop, will step in. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Now he's got a runner at first in Relat with 1 out. And his team up 5-1 over the Gatemen. Takes a high fastball, 1-0.
Jeremy Pena, a teammate of the current Chatham Angler pitcher Silva at the University of Maine. Lives in Providence, Rhode Island, but is originally from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
This one sent foul down the first base line and out of play, 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike with Relat at the plate. Or rather, Pena at the plate, Relat at first. Takes a pitch inside, 2-1.
Interesting spot here for Brad Case in his first outing as a Wareham Gateman. Your team's down by 4, and you're just trying to get this first outing of the year in. Now you're in the stretch. That gives you a chance to throw out of this windup.
This one sent foul as well, just over the Wareham dugout, hits the netting. Runner was going. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Of course, in this league, as a temporary player, you just never know what's going to happen when you wake up the next morning or after the game that you just played. As we learned last night, that right after Garrett Zeck scored a game-winning run in dramatic fashion, he was cut from the team, which is just the nature of this league.
Calling time at the plate is Pena. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner at first base, Pena at the plate. Case looks him over, deals the pitch. This one's sent on a chopper to third base. McIver throws to first and retires Pena. 2 gone in the inning. Runner advances to second base. That'll bring up Mason Coppins, the left fielder.
Surprised McIver didn't try to go to second there, being how confident he should be in his fielding ability so far today. Mason Coppins is 2 for 2 today coming in here.
Coppins singled and came around to score back in the 5th. And takes the first pitch, strike.
Back in the 2nd, he singled and then got caught in that rundown that eventually ended in Robbie Metz tagging him out, but
the run scored
also
then.
got an RBI on that play. An RBI single with a guy on first.
I think he's going to take it. Coppins awaits the 0-1, takes it for a ball. 1-1. Again, this game will go 7 innings. We're in the bottom of the 6th. Chatham up 5-1. Chatham scores 3 runs in the first inning in game 1. They do the same thing in game 2. Nick Patton, 2 2-run home runs in this game. As that pitch is taken for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Gatemen offense has just not been going today.
Brad Case very deliberate in the stretch, very slow, taking his time, checking the runner at second.
2-1 pitch, low, and now 3 balls and 1 strike. A nice hitter's count here for Coppins with DJ Artis, the center fielder, on deck. If you were Brad Case, you'd like to retire Coppins so you don't have to face DJ Artis.
Absolutely. Coppins can't take him for granted, of course, but DJ Artis, another, he's one of the best hitters in his conference in the Big South with Liberty.
And now Case walks Coppins, so he's going to have to face Artis with runners at first and second.
So he will be facing the Big South Player of the Year. DJ Artis in 111 games at Liberty University, 8 home runs, 86 runs batted in, averages more than a walk per game, which is just so impressive for any hitter.
Artis takes a strike and looks back at the home plate umpire and says, "What did you just call? A strike? That was a late call."
It was a bit late, and it was also a bit low. I didn't think that ball had a chance of being a strike. I thought for sure this would be a 1-0 count right now, but a pitcher's strike zone, I guess, for
0-1 in the dirt, blocked by Knopf. 1 ball and 1 strike.
But to have more than a walk per game in college in the Big South just shows the kind of plate awareness that DJ Artis has. Also has the speed, so when he does get on base, he's immediately a threat to steal and get into scoring position. He's just a great player for Liberty, the Flames.
Here comes the 1-1, and that is driven down the left field line, foul. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to DJ Artis, who's 0 for 3 on the day. He flew out to center field in the first and second innings and then grounded out to third base in the 5th.
And Jacob, I know you're a Red Sox fan, so in case you're wondering about the one that got away, DJ Artis, a 40th round draft pick by the Red Sox in 2015, decided to go to college instead. We'll see where he ends up when he comes back around for his next draft eligibility.
Time called at the plate by Artis. Antonio Relat at second, Coppins at first, Artis at the plate. their team up 5-1 over Wareham with 2 outs and a 1-2 count. Here comes the pitch from Case, just outside. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jake Palomaki waiting on deck. He's 0 for 2 today. Would like to see Case for the first time tonight. Hoping Artis doesn't get retired. Runners on first and second. The 2-2 pitch is fouled straight back just over the broadcast booth. Almost went in the window. Watch out if you're a Chatham broadcaster.
Yeah, the Chatham broadcasters had to keep an eye on that one.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners at first and second. In a 5-1 game, Chatham leads it. Brad Case on the hill facing Artis. Here comes the pitch. It's in the dirt, blocked by Noth again. He's had to deal with a lot of balls in the dirt today.
Yeah, Kyle Noth showing off his ability behind the plate. And he must just be a steal defensively for a school like Nichols State to have a catcher like that.
Full count. Here comes Case's pitch. It is sent up the middle, and it won't be fielded from second base. Comes Rawat. He will score. An RBI single for DJ Artis makes this score 6-1 in favor of the Anglers.
We mentioned how important it was to retire Mason Coppins at the bottom of the order. They faced DJ Artis at the top, and now he gets an RBI single, doing what he does best, just punching it up the middle. Don't be fooled by that ground ball. That was for sure on purpose, up the middle by DJ Artis. Just great hitting there, right back to where it came from. And now Chatham with a commanding 6-1 lead with just 3 more outs for Wareham to work with on the hitting side of the ball.
Coppins moves from first to third on that RBI single from Artis. Palomaki does get a chance to face Case and takes a first pitch strike, 0-1. It has been a long day in Chatham. Here for the doubleheader. Jacob Tobey alongside Sam Corman. Connor Federico on hand, Claudia Chakamian on hand. Here comes the 0-1 from Case, a big hack and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes.
A nice 4 hours of baseball here.
Maybe more than 4.
Well, we started at 5 p.m., so we're at 4 hours, 25 minutes with about a 20-minute break, give or take. So,
and you never know what can happen next inning.
Of course, but 4 hours as of now, I meant. And
the 0-2 gets away from the catcher. Runner's going to come to advance, and now Coppins is caught in a pickle at third. And Coppins still moving around. He's still alive. Here comes the catcher, Noth. He's going to fake the throw. He'll tag the runner, Coppins. How do you score that? We'll figure it out later.
My scorebook's going to be a mess after that one. I know that.
So Palomaki doesn't get a chance to drive in Coppins. He is gunned down on the base paths in the pickle, but DJ Artis, an RBI single, gives the Anglers a 6-1 lead. They get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left on, and it's 6-1 in favor of the Anglers. You're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
At Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Seventh inning at Veterans Field in Chatham, Mass. Jacob Tobey alongside Sam Corman, it is the last inning. We are playing 7 today for the doubleheaders. Of course, the Gatemen lost their first one 8-3 and are in danger of losing 2 on the same day. It's a 6-1 advantage for the Anglers. Nick Silva still on the hill for the Chatham Anglers, and he'll face Blake Sable. Sable takes a strike 0-1. It'll be Sable, Anchia, and Noth here for the Gatemen in the last half inning.
You need 5 runs here to tie this game. And Blake Sable is a good guy to get it started.
They say Sable went around, he checked his swing, so no balls and 2 strikes.
Sable 0 for 2 in game 1 of this doubleheader, and then 1 for 2 today with a single back in the 4th, as now some rain starting to come through here.
The 0-2 pitch outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sable at the plate, awaiting the 1-2 from Silva. Inside, surprising, that maybe looked like a called third strike. Nevertheless, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Possibly a bit of a unpredictable strike zone, to say the least, for these umpires today.
2-2 pitch from Silva is sent down the right field line into the Gatemen bullpen, I think.
I have no idea.
Foul?
I lost that ball right off the bat. I just assumed Sable knew where it was.
It definitely went foul somewhere in the area. 314 down that right field line. That's where the Gatemen bullpen is, just 10 feet over from the right field pole here at Veterans Field in this basin of a location right now with the fog just sinking in. The 2-2 pitch to Sable up and away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the 3-2, and that is roped down the right field line, foul. Into the bullpen, that one for sure. That was a little lower, so we didn't lose that track.
And you saw the bullpen guys scattering around there, out there in right field, avoiding that line drive by Sable.
Do you remember there was an issue last year with the fog when the Gatemen were here? And it's been an issue tonight. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. That is inside. Sable draws a leadoff walk.
Well, not a hit, but on base is the important thing for the leadoff guy in an inning where you needed 5 runs for Wareham. We'll see if that can get it started for the Gatemen. Jake Anchia is a guy that who hasn't done much at the plate this year so far, but see what he has up his sleeve here, hitting from the 6th hole.
Anchia 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch swinging, sends it to the third baseman, Relat. They'll go to second for 1. They can't even get the 1. As it looked to be Palomaki who was covering, and it popped right out of his glove as he tried to make the transition. So now Anchia is at first. We'll see how they score it. Runners at first and second.
Well, it's an error on someone's part. It's a matter of, is it a throwing error or is that a fielding or a receiving error by the second baseman? I thought that my rule is that if you're able to get a glove on it and don't have to jump, you should be able to make the play. E4 is the official scoring from beat writer Matt Feld.
Noth takes a first pitch strike. So runners at first and second. Gatemen still trail at 6-1. Last season, the Gatemen were 2-2 versus Chatham. They are already 0-1 this season. And in doubt, as the second strike in a row thrown by Silva, 0-2. They're in danger of losing their second straight to Chatham. Sable at second, Anchia at first. Reaching on the error. Noth awaits the 0-2, and it's up and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. You could hear the sarcastic comments of Matt Feld through the microphone. Watch out, Mike's hot. Good old beat writer Matty Feld. Read him on the Gatemen website. The 1-2 pitch is sent right back to the pitcher, Silva, he'll go to second for one, to first. Double play. 1-4-3, they call it. And there are 2 outs. When the runner advances to third, Sable is at third, and here comes Robbie Metz.
And the Gatemen in the second game have just not been able to get the ball up in the air. A lot of ground outs here today, and a lot of strikeouts against this Chatham combo of Signor and Silva.
The 2 S's.
The 2 S's, Signor from Fairfield.
Metz takes a pitch up and in, 1-0. Last time the Gatemen played at Chatham, they lost on a walk-off 3-run home run by Tanner Gardner in the 11th inning.
A lot of home runs here in Chatham compared to a lot of the other stadiums across the Cape.
1-0, taken for a strike by Metz. 1 ball and 1 strike. It was 3-3 in the 11th. Wareham scored 2 in the top of the 11th. Then Chatham walked it off with 3 runs in the bottom of the 11th.
Sounds like a thriller, honestly.
It was. Metz chops this one foul right past the Gatemen dugout.
Of course, it's the only time we will be visiting Chatham this season. It is because this is a doubleheader here, knocking this trip out of the way for Wareham. I mean, it is probably the furthest distance a team can travel on the Cape.
Runner at third, the 1-2 pitch. Metz swings it foul and stays alive.
Wareham off the Cape. Chatham, probably the furthest team. I would say maybe Orleans.
Orleans is the furthest.
Orleans is confirmed the furthest from someone who's more experienced here in this league.
Runner at third, Gatemen down to their last strike. It's Robbie Metz. The 1-2 pitch. Up and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, Orleans is the farthest. Brewster is in competition.
See what Robbie Metz here can do. Still 2 outs here in the 7th inning, but
2-2 pitch. Metz swings and misses. It's a drop third strike. Metz hustling down the first. The throw is in time. Metz retired. The Gatemen can't score in the 7th, and they fall to the Chatham Anglers by a final score of 6-1. They can't beat Chatham today as they lose both games. The first one 8-3 and the second one by a final score of 6-1.
Yeah, tough outing here for Wareham. Just never got the bats going. We mentioned how important it was, a doubleheader. That first game is very important because that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day, and that was certainly the case today. That first game really set the tone for the Gatemen. They honestly just didn't seem to ever have it going in the second game. Were really shut down by Chatham starter John Signor, who was through four innings, gave up just 1 run and just 2 hits, struck out 4 on the way, including 3 consecutive 1-2-3 innings in the first, second, and third. And then great relief from the University of Maine's Silva coming in relief.
Yeah, he pitched 1.2 innings, giving up 1 hit, no earned, 1 walk, and 1 K. And what really did the Gatemen in today were Nick Patton.
Yeah, Nick Patton, in total, a phenomenal day for Chatham. In the second game, a home run, a walk, and a single. So 2 for 2 in the second game. But back in the first game, another home run, along with a double and a sac fly. Tons of RBIs today for Nick Patton. I can't count them all up right now on my scorebook, but a lot of RBIs for Nick Patton. He had a phenomenal day out of the University of Delaware. We knew how many home runs he hit there this year. It was 17 in 2017 for Nick Patton, and a lot of RBIs to go along with that. So one of their best hitters for sure showing up. Gatemen got a rebound tomorrow with that makeup game against Hyannis.
All right, so the Gatemen lose game 1 8-3, and they lose game 2 6-1. Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The producers of today's broadcast are Nick Veronesi and Matt Wieselthayer. Our sideline reporter is Claudia Chakamian. Thanks to our beat writer, Maddie Feld, and today's host, Connor Federico. The next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball will be tomorrow as the Gatemen host the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, which is the makeup game from Friday night. The game starts at 6:30. Our coverage begins with the South Coast Gatemen Pregame Show on the Wareham Gatemen YouTube page at 6 p.m. So for Sam Corman, I'm Jacob Toby. Thanks for tuning in to this presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.